Wait 1 second, Mayor. Okay, now.
I call to the order in the meeting of Mayor and Council of Borough of River Edge, November 24th, 2025. Borough Hall, 705 Kingston Neck Road, and Zoom. I ask everyone to stand for a moment of reflective silence. Councilman.
Why don't we think about the week coming up, Thanksgiving, and just think about those in your life that you're very grateful for.
Ready? Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act. This meeting complies with the Open Public Meeting Act by notification via October 7, 2025, sunshine notice containing location, date, time, and access information to the town news and the record by posting the same in the municipal bulletin board and the borough website and following notice of the same with the municipal clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Council President Mark Sonafon. Here. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilwoman Larry is currently absent. Benson.
Just
Okay. Councilwoman Larry. Here. Okay. Councilman Benson.
Here.
Councilman Glass.
Here.
Councilwoman Garwell is absent on prior notice. Mayor Papaleo.
Here. All right. Could I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the Mayor and Council regular meeting and closed session of November 13th, 2025?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Mayor, I have to abstain from the closed session.
Very well. Is there any other extension? Very nice. It is so. Could I have?
No pun intended.
Could I ask the borough administrator to give us an update on all things concerning the borough?
To follow up, our borough engineer gave me the following updates to currently ongoing projects on Borough Hall entrance and Tennessee Wood Park. Borough Hall entrance is approximately 90% complete. The remaining items to be completed are the installation of their reinforced concrete pad located next to the generator on the northeast side of the property, striking of the entire parking lot, cleaning of the front building area, placement of topsoil, installation of plantings, which should take place during this week, completion of any punch list items identified in the final inspection, and they anticipate conducting the final inspection within the next 2 weeks, after with the punch list work will be issued. With KBG Fields, the engineer stated that we remain on schedule. Key progress updates include the fields have been properly graded and the underdrains have been installed throughout the site. First installer is scheduled to mobilize in approximately 6 weeks, depending on the weather. Also, contingent on the weather, sodding is expected to begin in 2 weeks. All major construction milestones for both baseball and softball fields have been completed on time. The first quote, like I mentioned at the last meeting, for a pickleball court was laid down, but the second quote, because of the weather, will be applied in early April, or once there are 3 consecutive days of temperature above 55 degrees. And the quoting process should take approximately 2 to 3 days. And then once sodding, irrigation, and turf installation are completed, they will provide aerial photographs of the site, and we remain on track for mid-April 2026 for opening this year.
All right, then, we have Taekwondo Center certificates, and we have a new firefighter. So without objection, I'd like to move resolution 25-295 to the beginning of the meeting. And this would be to approve the appointment of volunteer firefighter Matt Polandic.
I think it's 291.
Without objection, I'd like a motion to second.
Mayor, I think it's 291.
My apologies. Moving 25-291.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, we're going to swear in, Matthew, one of our volunteer firefighters. And then after that, we're going to do our, Taekwondo Center certificates, and we're very proud of them. But since the Taekwondo have seats and the firefighters do not, I thought maybe we want to do that in that order. All right, so, Matthew, are you present? Great, and could I have the chief of the department and any firefighter present, please come forward and fill in front of the dais.
Tonight, we have a joint training exercise with Oradell Fire Department, so most of my firefighters are at the training exercise across the street. We make Matt aware of that.
Oh, great. Okay, Matt. Well, first of all, Matt, we really appreciate giving your time and energy. It is a tremendous, want to make sure that people, at home can hear. It is a tremendous commitment, to become a firefighter. Chief, how long does it take to become a volunteer firefighter?
With the training that we do at the firehouse as well as the fire academy, about seven and a half months.
That's a tremendous commitment. About how many hours would you say a week?
Probably about 12 to 15 hours a week of training.
Yes. And so, Matthew, we really appreciate it. Camera is there, so, I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna let you and, he goes in. And, oh, hold on. All right, great. Matthew, would you be okay, with Ivana?
Yeah.
Great, keep it holding. No, you can raise your right hand.
sorry.
You guys can switch.
There we
All right, great. All right, raise your right hand, Matthew, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Matthew Bland,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I
and that I,
will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in the state
and in the state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I state your name.
I, Matthew Bland,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
as a firefighter
as a firefighter
of the River Edge Volunteer Fire Department
of the River Edge Volunteer Fire Department
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Chief, do you want to say a few more words or anything at this point, especially to possible volunteer firefighters?
That's a great department, River Edge. When you guys turn 16 years old, we have a great junior program. So you're more than welcome to come by the firehouse. We've been fortunate to get several new volunteer firefighters, and the department's doing real well.
It's excellent, yeah.
And, you know, with the police department here, we're grateful for the support that we get from the River Edge Police. Thank you very, very much. And thank you, Mayor and Council, for your support as well.
Now we have also a wonderful, we have JS Taekwondo Center certificate. Could I have the coach come up? Yes, he could. And any assistant coaches who are present?
Got a manager, team manager my way.
Absolutely. So what we're gonna do is, what we're gonna do is we're going to call up each athlete, and what we're gonna do is you're gonna call out the name, and then hand you the certificate, and then you guys are gonna come forward. I'm gonna shake your hand, okay? Parents wanna take pictures then, that's good, okay? And then you're gonna come and stand behind us, and when we go all done, we'll do a group shot, if that's okay, right? You guys have,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
do you want to say a few things to put this in context?
So our athletes this year, well, every year, we've been in town for 11 years. We've been having athletes train in that facility. You know, we're known to be a tough school in town. There's several others all around, but our athletes put in a lot of work, dedications, even on the weekends, you know, Saturday, Sunday, they come training. So they achieved a certain amount of, you know, levels, not just at the local, state, regional, and this national. So this is like the biggest we can achieve, as an athlete at youth and junior age. So it is a really big accomplishment. So, I just want to give them a round of applause first. Before I leave.
You stand here, and I'm gonna ask the athletes to come up this way, okay? So if you could state their names.
First is Fabian Dyer. Ranked number 1 U.S. national champion in
Oh, wow.
category, his belt rank, and he's
Sure.
Chio Sia.
Congratulations. There you go, right over there.
Trian Saha.
Well done.
We have Jeffrey Hong. Caitlin Lee. We have Noah Hong. Matthew An. Benjamin An. My youngest is that second place at national, Elliot Survival.
All right, so I just want to read into the record. Each of them have a certificate that says the mayor and council of the Borough of River Edge are proud to present this athlete a certificate in recognition of achieving the 2024 Blue Belt Sparring Gold Medal in the AAU Taekwondo National Championship and the 2025 Red Belt Sparring Gold Medal in the U.S. National Taekwondo Championship with my signature and the council listed president. Very good. I'll give you that. Very good. Anything you want to say about this achievement, you have a moment if you are not too nervous. Very well, good. So let's take a picture with us. And so we'll just squeeze in and just, you guys in front, yep. And coach, in there, and I'll stand over here.
Just do the athletes and.
Okay, there we go.
Well, I'm gonna, can you move in this way? Yeah, but again, squeeze that. It's not for the family. Thank you so much, Council. Thank you.
We will upload this to YouTube hopefully within a day or two. You would go to the Borough of River Edge, right, YouTube site, and you can watch it or you can download it so that you can have a memory of it or a free.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh.
Okay, okay, so, we're gonna open to public comments on any item on the agenda. Could I have a motion and a second?
What about the presentation?
Oh, the presentation, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. I apologize, Eric, yeah. All right, so we're gonna have an HPC, which is Historic Preservation Commission, 2026 budget requests. If I could have them come forward, state your name and address, and, gentlemen, you can begin.
Jim Street,
Turn on the mic.
Jim Street, 40210. Eric Modell, 178 Boulder Road.
All right, gentlemen, welcome, and thank you for being here. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you for having us. We were here in October to give you an update on the QR code project. At the time, I summarized some other projects we were working at, and we suggest that we send in formal summaries of it, and we've done so of 6 projects. Tonight, we're limiting ourselves to 2 in particular, because the 4 others will update you in the future. They're not right for a presentation for budget purposes. So the 2 tonight involve banners along River Edge Road and Main Street. This is the one for River Edge Road about Old Bridge,
Mm-hmm.
and this one's along the retreat route on Main Street. Yesterday was the commemoration of the retreat, and the retreat took place in River Edge, so we want to mark that.
And you've spoken to the superintendent of public works about this, so that, this would be something that he feels we could do, and the locations and the number of banners, correct?
Yes, and the availability, I've spoken to them 3 times, and we sat down and, we've done a quote from Gates, who've done the heroes banners and the like, and this is consistent with the protocol and the format on that, so that's one of them.
Good.
The other one, the second one is for equipment. I'll let Jim speak to that. We're doing a storytelling project and a local history project, and we're gathering stories, and we do it on personal narratives also. We've done it for Joe and Jerry, Mary Donahue, and the like. And Jim has borrowed equipment in the past, so let's speak to that. But we made an application through grants, and we're following up to that. We're doing a scaled down request from where we first started, being mindful of the budget situation. I'll let Jim talk about the logistics of it.
We're just looking to purchase a camera, tripod, microphone, and cable so that we can use that for oral histories or anything else that we would use, because we are doing lots of recording when it comes to the streets as well. And then we also thought anybody else that's part of the River Edge departments could also use, we could even house the equipment here. I could train people how to use it. It's very easy. So it would be equipment not just for the historical commission, but for anybody within the borough community as well.
All right. This needs to be referred to the budget committee, but we wanted to give you a chance to present it. And any member of council can ask the questions. Any member of council wishes to ask a question before it's referred. Seeing none, gentlemen, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, very good. So now I need a motion and second to open for public comments on any item on the agenda. There would be 2 minutes granted. If there is an individual who, if there are individuals who are willing to, give up their time, to another individual, that individual can speak for more than 2 minutes, but that person would be giving up their opportunity to speak. They would be basically giving their 2 minutes to the main speaker, as has been our practice in the past. So could I have a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, is there any person who would like to speak to any item on the agenda? Please come forward. Okay, law enforcement does not need to give their address. They just need to state their role, and don't get to turn the mic on that. Okay, Matt, you get 2 minutes unless there are others here who would like to, but you do have to state your name and your rank, okay?
Matthew Petersky, the River Edge Police Department on behalf of the River Edge PDA. Mayor Papaleo, Council President Montesano Cohen, members of the council, thank you for your time. My name is Matthew Petersky, President of the River Edge PDA Local 1. I'm on behalf of the 23 members that are some of the hardest working men and women that help keep River Edge one of the safest communities in the country, and the public we serve to respectfully request we reconsider the decision to eliminate and not fill the captain's position, or at minimum hear our side before making a final staffing decision. I would like to state, currently, there are, in the River Edge Police Department Cable Organization, it consists of 23 sworn officers. Come January 1st, and if this ordinance passes, there will still be 23 sworn officers. This leads to my first question. Is this truly a budget issue, or is it a personal issue between the council and the police department? If this decision was strictly about dollars and cents, the council would have provided the chief with a specific dollar amount to cut, not just eliminate a supervisor rank in an extremely young department at a time when agencies across the state are adding supervisory positions and not cutting them. Over the weekend, I sat down with members of the PBA and did our numbers, which seems to differ from the numbers the council presented to us. which was the believed cost of savings of roughly $302,000 after eliminating the position. Our numbers show that in 2025, the borough would only be spending roughly $26,326.46 to fill the captain's position and backfill lieutenants and sergeants' positions. In 2026, that number would roughly be $27,050.57. For some history, the captain's position has been a subject of discussion since at least 1995 and under multiple chiefs. For decades, chiefs and the command staff recognized the need for a true second in command. In 2017, the then council removed the captain's position from the capable organization.
So would you
Yeah.
like to grant him time?
That's right.
Okay, please state your name.
Jeff Starron, delegate, PBA local 201.
Okay,
Time to the president.
okay. We can get other people to give you time now instead of going, every 2 minutes.
We can go over 2 minutes.
Okay, cool.
In 2017, the then council removed the captain's position from the capable organization and attempted to replace the role with an administrative sergeant. Furthermore, that position was before that, previous administrations tried hiring civilian employees to conduct the responsibilities of the captain. Those experiments did not work and failed for a simple reason. Sergeant or civilian cannot fill the responsibilities of the second in command in the paramilitary structure. The rank and structure did not support it, the authority wasn't there, and it created confusion, inconsistency, and operational inefficiencies. The police department learned from those past experiences and has proven exactly why the captain is so essential. In a paramilitary organization, the captain is the linchpin of the command and responsible for acting as an incident commander in the absence of the chief. They have scheduling of patrol and dispatchers, police licensing, scheduling mandatory training, which is ever expanding, fleet management, purchasing all department necessary equipment, hiring and evaluating all employees, in charge of the Office of Internal Affairs and Professional Standards, and managing our accreditation, which saves the town yearly in insurance costs. Without a captain, those responsibilities don't just disappear. They simply get pushed downwards, often without appropriate rank or authority, which creates gaps in leadership, department inconsistencies, morale issues, and opens the borough to possible unfair labor practices for working at a title. A good example of this is when the borough appointed a second in command position and created the position of an assistant borough administrator in March of 2021. The police department needs the same structure. Additionally, in comparison to the department size, resident population is approximately 12,000 residents, school district size, and call volume, the Glen Rock Police Department consists of 23 officers, which include a chief, a captain, 2 lieutenants, 5 sergeants, and 4 police patrols. We respect that the borough faces financial constraints, but we strongly believe there are other ways.
Okay, that's 2 minutes.
Patrick Diamond, 94 North Gate Lane.
Okay. Continue.
We respect that the borough faces financial constraints, but we strongly believe there are other ways to save money that do not compromise public safety or leadership structure, and we are more than willing to sit with the council, the administrator, and the chief to explore them. Tonight, we are asking for the council to please delay and reconsider these actions of eliminating the business captain's position. The PBA is not asking for 5% raises or free benefits. All we're asking is for our rank structure to be filled to ensure proper supervision and management in this department. Without proper supervision, the borough is opening the door of litigations for failure to supervise or failure to train properly. This decision could create a lack of supervision on the road due to sergeants having to conduct administrative responsibilities. This is not about titles. This is about maintaining a safe, functional, modern police department aligned with the 2025 policing standards and ensuring the residents of River Edge continue to receive the level of service they expect and, more importantly, deserve.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Is there another person who would like to speak to any item on the agenda? Please state your name and rank.
Bruce Emmons, lieutenant of the police department and resident here under James Wolf. Mayor and council, thank you for your time. I come tonight as an employee and a resident of our town. It disappoints me that 9 years after I sat in this very seat as PBA president, I am now sitting here as part of the command staff and of the police department and a member of the Superior Officers Association. Having to advocate for the captain position, again, Mayor, Council President Montesano Cohen, and Councilwoman Kinsella acknowledged that we needed the position in 2021, and I thank you graciously for bringing the supervision in the police department to where it needed to be at that time to meet the standards of the time. Many of the same arguments I made then, PBA President Petersky is making now. But what is a greater concern to me is that the reason that what we are being told is the reason. The budget, and I think there's a two-pronged point to this. The first is the cost. A lot of numbers have been thrown around, and the police department has come up with a $300,000 savings. I would offer that, as you're aware, we have a component in place already, which was budgeted for in 2025. There is no additional hiring that would have to occur. Captain Casey's salary can come off the salary and wage line for the 2026 budget, which is in the ballpark of $190,000, plus his benefits can come off the healthcare one. To make all three promotions, a captain, a lieutenant, and a sergeant would cost approximately $30,000 using the high numbers. $30,000 in a $20 million budget. I have attached the breakdown in the handouts that I've provided to you all this evening. Another number that has been floated is that there's a $3 million deficit. If that's the case, we have a bigger issue and serious questions need to be asked in this. We know that healthcare, debt service, and pension costs are outside the 2% cap. So if that's the number without those items, where did the money go? All police lawsuits attack training and supervision of the department when there is blame trying to be placed.
Is there another?
I'll give you my time.
You guys state your name.
Dave Palucci, PBA Vice President.
Okay.
Attorneys will drag out lawsuits and look for big paydays by questioning who was in charge and what training was provided. By having a clear line of succession in the absence of the chief, so there are no blurred lines of leadership, and the fact that the person that is responsible for all the training, that person is responsible for all the training records and compliance, it allows the boroughs to mitigate risk. I wanted to touch on accreditation for a minute because I know it has come up in discussion. The JIF gave the borough seed money as a loan, if you will, for $25,000 to go toward accreditation. Each year, they give a 5% discount on the liability insurance premium the town pays, which according to Ezio, the size of our town is about $7,000. The credit goes back to the $25,000 that was loaned in the beginning. Once the $25,000 is paid off, the savings is realized. The JIF sees accreditation as another layer to have to peel away during litigation because you know your department is following the best practices by their self-assessment and independent auditors who come in. I have to say, being responsible as the accreditation manager when I was first promoted was an honor and a privilege and enhanced my understanding and application of the policies and procedures in place, and also allowed me to become an integral part in bringing the police department up to best practices. I can also attest it's not just scanning some documents into a system. It is constantly updating policies as new directives come out from the Attorney General, as well as constant reviews to make sure the department itself is adhering to all the standards in place and following best practices. The police department is a 24/7, 365 department. It operates on holidays, nights, and weekends, which is why it's the biggest budget in the overall town budget. It's also the only department that can take people's liberties away. As the first ones on scene of an emergency, could have to react in a split second or make a life or death decision. Those decisions have consequences. Having stable leadership at the top to make sure that all policies and procedures are in place and being followed, that all training is acquired and documented, and that there is a clear line of succession.
Do you have someone else?
Mayor Dennis Griffith, I yield my time to, Joe Denny.
Thank you.
Clear line of succession in an emergency, in my opinion, is worth $30,000. I've talked about relationships before. And at Father Mike's funeral mass today, Cardinal Tobin talked about relationships and the relationships that Father Mike had with the people of his parish. The mayor and council, the PBA, and the police department have shared in a good relationship over the last 5 years, much more so than prior to the tenure of Chief Walker. Let's continue to have that relationship so we can work together for the good of the people of this town. I provided a handout to all of you in the beginning. I just want to clarify on the second slide, I gave you the population census. I also provided you what the school population is. The specific point of why I included the school population is because God forbid there was ever a critical incident, these are the potential people that we could be looking at, right? That all these schools being built on any particular day. So that was the purpose of including that in case that particular slide wasn't clear. I believe the rest is self-explanatory. In the PowerPoint that I look forward to you reviewing, if you have questions, you all know how to get in contact with me. And I would look forward to questions, to be honest, so we can have a further dialogue about this.
Is there another?
Charles 247 Manning Avenue.
You don't need to give your address.
I'm going to this officer.
Yeah, but you are.
I appreciate that. 27 and a half years going to the River Police Department. I retired in 2024 as lieutenant. Prior to that, 4 years as a police auxiliary volunteer in my time to the Borough of Ridge. First of all, guys, really nice job with the borough hall, very nice job. Notice the front border out there around this piece of steel from the World Trade Center, very nicely done. The in-ground heating, very, very nice touch. I would like to think that when you guys took on this project, you consulted with engineers, tradesmen, architects to get the job done correctly. I would hope that you would also reach out, making such a big decision as far as taking away the captain's position to a consulting firm that deals with police departments and manpower staffing. Without that type of knowledge backing you up, your decision to disband the captain's position seems very arbitrary, and I'm going to hold off on saying capricious. I would like to think that doing your due diligence, you would actually reach out to people who probably know police departments best and figure out what's best for the Borough of Ridge before making that decision. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Chief Walker, River Ridge Police Department.
Chief, go ahead.
So I'm really looking for the council people to, I met with the subcommittee. I just want to make sure that all the council are aware of, we've actually heard a lot of them and repeat some of it. Very important, and please try to listen to what I think is the simplicity of this transition, right? Initially, I asked for a personnel subcommittee meeting, a meeting actually with personnel subcommittee. I felt our administrator should be there, the chief financial officer should be there, PDA representative, member of the plan staff, and borough attorney desired. All right, we never had that meeting. Instead, last week I was told I needed to appear at a personnel subcommittee meeting. I asked the BA for the topic; she wasn't aware of the topic. I asked the mayor, and the mayor told me no need to prepare. See you at the meeting. Right? I didn't think that was. I think that was very professional, honestly. Right? At the meeting, I was told that the captain's position was going to be removed from the table of organization. I asked why, and I was told it was budgetary reasons. I was told it would be savings between somewhere of 250 to 300,000. I asked, are we planning on laying anybody off next year? The answer was not at this time. I said, are you going to let me hire anybody next year? The answer was no. Right? So that means we went from 25 officers on June, the last day of June in 2025, we went to 24 officers. Okay? 24 officers. Okay. January 26th, on the first pay, 24 officers will get paid. That 24 officer salary and benefits, we are no longer paying. All right? And we estimate that to be around 250 to 300,000.
Chief, do you have someone who'd like to?
Brenton Preisendorf for Bridge.
Thank you. Okay. I asked, I need the captain spot. I went on from there. And it certainly didn't go away. We've been here, right? So here we are. In order to make it happen, I just want to present the steps of how this happens. 23 officers. The 24th officer isn't here. We're not paying him. We will not be paying him next year. 250 to 300,000, not paying him. I said, I'm going to do it with the 23 we have. How do you do that, Chief? Okay. I take a lieutenant and I make them a captain. right? We don't have to test for that because the candidates agreed. One won't take its place, so we save money on testing. How much does that cost? $1,900. Okay, the salary difference right now, 1,900. All right, well, what about the lieutenant, chief? Okay, we need to take a sergeant. We need to make him a lieutenant, right? We need to test for that. All right, I have the money in the 2024 budget to test for that. Once that's done, how much does that cost? $13,000. Okay, so what are we in now? $15,000. We didn't touch retired captain, 250 to 300,000 sitting there. We're not touching it, right? We're not replacing that physical person. Okay, what do you do with the sergeant then? You need to replace the sergeant. We already have a sergeant on deck waiting. As you know, you put him on the list, okay? No cost. How much does the sergeant cost? $13,000. What is that? 26, 27, 28, just under 30, like you said. $30,000. What about the patrolman? We're not hiring anybody. We don't need to. We have that patrolman. He doesn't get an increase. We don't need to test. Under $30,000 to replace this captain with the existing manpower we have.
Chief, there's someone else?
Mark Body, local patrol.
Thank you, Sergeant. All right, now, honestly, I am a man, and these officers know, what I brought to the police department is teamwork. I sit down with the command staff multiple times a week. I've had meetings with my sergeants and command staff. I had a whole departmental meeting, unseen in this police department. Why do I do it? Because when we sit together, there's nothing we can't accomplish. I don't need to stand up and be, I'm the chief for all the answers. Okay? I asked that of you. I wanted to sit with that group of people and discuss this. Because if I was told, chief, we got a budget problem, what are we gonna do here? I'm telling you right now, after I went to the subcommittee meeting, I was told that I left and played with some numbers, I could save you more. That 30,000, I could find that in the budget and I could get you at least 40 more thousand. So you would know about that, right? Why? Because you won't sit down and have a proper budget meeting. You know, sometimes you run things by attorneys, right? And we have two good attorneys. We have Mr. Giacobi, who's not here, who does labor, Mr. Shadane does borough. You know, Mr. Giacobi, outstanding attorney, so is Mr. Shadane, okay? But if you ask him a question as a mayor on behalf of the police department, you're asking a question. You're just asking him a question about the police department, all right? It's not having me at the table. I run the police department. I'm damn good at it. I've been doing this for 37 years. I think you can see I turned this place around. All right, if you brought me to the table and said, Chief, we got a problem, I could have helped you with it. I asked not to do this tonight, to put it off and meet and discuss it with all of you if you want, with the labor attorney, bring the borough attorney, certainly the
Chief, you
CFO.
have someone else?
Carol Brown, 268 Woodland
Thank you, Carol. All right. It didn't happen. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure where the team approach is here. All right. It bothers me tremendously as a resident to know that our taxes are going somewhere to where decisions are being made. You pay professionals to run your departments. If you don't think I do a good job, then you should get me out of the position. If you think I do a good job, you should include me as a team player with the other department heads to help you with the issues that you have. I don't feel I'm there, guys. This last meeting and where I'm at right now, I'm sorry. These numbers are, they're numbers. They're again, ask the CFO. We're not bringing that captain, that bottom back. We're saving that money. I would ask that you guys digest this, run it past the CFO. Tell me I'm wrong, all right? If you remember when I took the position, I said I wanted a captain. Through attrition, 2 officers left, traffic officers. to the, savings of somewhere around 400,000, right? We made a sergeant, we turned that position into a captain position for a reason. For the last 4 year, guys, I gave you a 5 year plan, I'm about 90% done, and it's going pretty damn well. No grievances, no lawsuits. One officer left to go to his hometown, I understand that. All right? You're looking at me, you tell me I do a good job, and then you don't include me when it comes to something so serious. I pay taxes in this town too, I totally understand it. I run this department very efficiently. Ask me about any line item, anything I
Chief, do
pay.
you have someone else who would like to speak?
Chief Schlossberg for Birchwood.
Chief Schlossberg, thank you, Chief.
I run it efficiently. My desk job, which is 90% done, is under budget. No change orders, no issues. I took care of that with the contractors that work there. Please reconsider this, have a meeting with the stakeholders, include your borough attorney, include the labor attorney, include the CFO. Let's fix our budget problem together. Thank you.
Is there someone else who'd like to speak?
Kenneth Lehman, 190 Tenny Avenue. So I wanted to come here and speak because I did find out about the news about the removal, the possible removal of the captain's position. And one of the things I want to say is I'm an 18-year resident of this town, okay? I've had the pleasure of being able to raise 5 kids in this town, all of who have had the pleasure of making good acquaintances, becoming, acquaintances of the, all the police officers, being able to have a good relationship with them, and also being able to have a good relationship through the scouting program of our police officers as well. I say that knowing that, especially in the last 5 years, right, when you look at the relationship with the officers and their involvement in the community in this town, okay, it comes down to one single word, all right? Each officer is invested in our community, more so now than I will say than they were maybe 10 years ago, whatever it might be, okay? And I think the reason for that is because they have a vested interest in staying in this town, okay? And they have a vested interest in staying in this town because they see your career path, right? They see that there is a succession path, right? So I think that this, even just looking at my own business, experience, right? When you have, roles that you can see that you can attain within your career, okay? It creates incentives to stay there. You can see career progression, okay? Without career progression, I think that's when you start to see that you wind up with more turnover, okay? Chief said it himself. One officer left to go to his hometown, okay? I would make the argument that 10 years ago, we were seeing much more drastic numbers of officers in this town for better opportunities elsewhere, okay? Few other things, I would say that the elimination of a role such as the captain, right, creates a point of failure within the leadership, okay? That leadership, okay, whether it's gonna be roles that are shifted upwards to the chief or downwards, would probably take away from the focus on frontline responsibility of the city.
Do you have someone who'd like to? Sure, please stand, state your name.
All right, I'd also say need for governance, right? The elimination of a role like as captain, even in my little bit of research, right, introduces a gap in risk and compliance factors that are given with the role, okay? And when you introduce risks, those types of risks, they create problems within an organization. I see it in my job, and I'm sure it filters down anywhere else, okay? Whether it's school boards or what have you. I would say that the financial savings that have been discussed tonight, whether it's 300,000, whether it's 30,000, whatever the number is that you want to peg to it. Okay, I don't believe that something like that would outweigh the cost of potential lawsuit or a failed investigation or a mishandled incident because of lack of proper coverage. All right, and the last thing that I would say is that I would go back and say that captain role is necessary, right, for that leadership succession, right? Being able to give our officers an incentive as to stay and grow within our community, be able to continue to foster those relationships with our families, all right? I would ask that is this proposal based off of an operational need assessment? Or is it a reactive cost, savings measure to close a gap somewhere else in the budget? I think that needs to be considered because I strongly advocate for the, keeping the position of Captain Fenn on the spot. Thank you.
Is there anyone who would like to speak? Is there anyone remotely who would like to speak? If you would like to speak, please raise your hand. You'll be given 2 minutes. Seeing none, could I have a motion and second to close the public on any item on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So, I'm going to speak to a few of the things that were brought up. First thing, is the state of New Jersey has issued a 34.34%, 36.4%, 0.4%, health benefits increase. This is, going to be affecting all municipalities throughout New Jersey, 70 in Bergen County, 564 in the state. We asked our CFO to, when it was announced, to tell us what the budget impact it was, and it was approximately $525,000.
About 532.
It's about $532,000. That's 2 tax points. So what the state is doing to municipalities is creating a tax levy. So instead of starting the year with 0, we're starting the year with 2.5 tax points to the taxpayers. Last year, at the end of the budget meeting, the chief spoke for an hour at that time about the captain's position, the lieutenant. I think Lieutenant Zemedy spoke about that. So we have heard the chiefs and the PDA side. We realized that we were in a financial issue. We had no captain for over 20 years. We attempted an experiment. The police department asked us to consider the captain. We added table organization. We had it for 2.5 years, but we had to fund the budget, which creates a tax burden or a tax obligation on the people of River Edge. And we asked our CFO what that tax obligation was, and it's $300,000 on average, because it was a little bit under $300,000 for the first year, about $300,000 for the second year, and about $300,000 in 3 or 4 this year. That is not what's paid to the officer, but the burden to the budget. That is the salary, plus the pension payment, plus the health benefits payment, and the tax payment that we're obligated to do. These are not imagined numbers. These are hard numbers. They come from the individual who is in that position. That was $900,000 over 3 years. It was clear to us when that individual retired and served with great honor in the River Edge Police Force. And I should stop and say, we have, I think, the best police department in Bergen County. And I have said this repeatedly to mayors when I meet with them, to the residents. This council and the councils before it have been very supportive. We've never said no to the police department in the 14 years I've been on the council. But that $300,000 in the budget, not necessarily paid to the officer, because there are taxes he has to pay, taxes we have to pay. We've gotten this from the CFO. We have that number. Led the council to recognize that we were, as health benefits went up. Now, I was just at the League of Municipalities down in Atlantic City, and I took 7 courses. And one of the courses I took was headed by the Department of Community Affairs, who reviews all budgets of all the towns. And one of the things that he had spoken of is that over the last 4 years, health benefits have gone up 80%. It's going up 34.4 this year, 80% overall. And this has been sapping all the budgets. I sat in another workshop with, it was more of a panel, with the, Assembly Leader Greenwald's his name? And, the Minority Leader, so the Assembly Leader Democratic, Minority Leader Republican, Damari, I think his name was, and then, Senate Minority Leader Bucco, who is also a Republican. And they all said the exact same thing that happened in every other one of the workshops. The health benefits failure is leading to all sorts of impossibilities of the budget. And that was said over and over again. I actually had a workshop that was called, "Can the State Health Benefits Program be saved?" And all three speakers, a union speaker, a state official, and a, I forget who the third guy was, said the exact same thing. No, it can't be. But that's by way of background. So we recognized that we had a budget problem. And at the end of the budget meeting, I said, okay, we now have to talk about furloughs and layoffs. And the council chose, and I think the council chose correctly at that time, to add more surplus. So we added $2.5 million worth of surplus. Did I get that correct?
So 350 was added at the end of the budget.
Yeah. So we did a total of 2.5 of $7.2 million of surplus. Now, surplus does replenish. I don't want to mislead anybody, but it only replenishes after 2 years. It's only the difference between what we fund and what we spend. But what we fund, we have to tax. Now, we're 25% of the tax levy on the residents of River Edge. The other 75% is the schools and the county and open space. So we realized back in January, February, March that we couldn't afford to replace the captain's position, but we did have to put it into the budget. So, so that $303,000, so it's probably 300 in that last year's budget. No, actually 303 is this,
2025. I think it was 2025.
Yeah, it was 2025. The 303 or 302 was in last year's budget. The only way we cannot, that we wouldn't have to fund it and therefore tax it is if we removed it. And still the council was thinking about this, but what we found out later is that the chief had asked for a promotion, a salary promotion, not really, how would we characterize that? Salary
Increase.
adjustment?
Yes.
Adjustment because he had placed one of the lieutenants in the captain's position, which he shared with us on Thursday. When we found it out 2 weeks ago, we had said to the chief in writing and in publicly and to the police department that we were not going to fund it. And the state reserves promotions and funding to the council. So we were surprised when we got this request for an acting captain. Then we found out that the chief had moved a sergeant into a lieutenant's position and a patrol officer into a sergeant position. And then at the end of 72 days, the contract would require us to start funding them at the higher rate. Our officers are great. The issue is money. So if you take the $202.5 million that we had to fund from surplus, and you always fund some from surplus because why should the people be taxed if we have surplus? But you can't fund a third of the, can't use a third of the surplus every year because you'd run out of surplus and you'd also be downgraded by Moody's. So this is just not viable. This is not personal. It was never personal. As I said, to my knowledge, we have never said no to the police department in the 14 years I've been on the council. And I actually inserted myself into negotiations when I was a council person to try to help get a better contract for the police department. So we have, last year we put 2.5 of our surplus into the budget. We can't keep doing that. We have 532, you said? Give or take, 532,000. So that brings us up to 3 million. So we will be using surplus, but we can't use it at this rate of expenditure. So we need to find not $30,000 in the budget. We need to find about $1 million in the budget. Or we're going to be forced to consider furloughs or layoffs. I don't want to do that. I think it's foolish. I think it's cruel to the people. Plus, we need to also the contractual employees, the police and DPW, have a contract, so they're going to get a raise next year. But our non-contractual, pretty much all of our secretarial staff and clerical staff and finance department, and also the chief, because the chief would not fall under contract, need to get some sort of price of
Cost of living.
cost of living increase. And we need to do that. And that's 2 to 3% salary increase. And that's probably another point, half a point to a point. So we go from 2.5 points to 3.5 points to 4 points before we even consider departments asking for more money simply because of the cost of living, because of inflation, because of tariff tax, or whatever you want to call it. It's just more expensive out there for everything. And this is the operating budget, which is different from the capital budget. It is the operating budget that has caps on it, but I'm sorry, I don't think that this council nor the residents of River Edge want a 5, 6, 7, 8% tax increase. That's where we're at. It's not personal. We had 20 years, at least 20 years that I know of, without a captain's position. We tried it for 2.5 years, 3 years, because we kept it, even though the captain retired, it had to stay in the budget. If it's in the budget, it has to be funded fully and not be partially funded. The state doesn't allow us to do that. And so that's the situation. Also, in addition to reserving the right to the council of promotions and funding, the council is also reserved by the state of New Jersey in the table of organization. It is the council's decision. If we could afford it, do I think we'd keep it? I don't know. Probably, but we can't afford it. There isn't enough money. And the 303 is just the beginning of what we need to find in this year's budget. Now, what if the state does something different with health benefits? I would love to see that happen. But Senator Booker, Assemblyman Damari, and Assemblyman Greenwald did not hold out much hope. Neither did the other 6 workshops I went to. They're going to try to do something during lame duck. You may not know what lame duck means. It's the period after the election before the newly elected get brought back in, sworn in, when assemblymen and women and senators have less pressure for re-election because either they've not been re-elected or they have, and they get hopefully a lot of things done that would be less popular. This is an awful situation. This is a terrible situation. And I wish, and I think the council wishes, there was something else we could do, but these are not factors created by us. These are factors created by the outside. And it's not just happening in New Jersey, it's happening all over the country. I don't know if you noticed, but health benefits are insane everywhere. And New Jersey just won a case against Horizon, which is the state's health benefit, for $100 million because they overcharged the state of New Jersey. Now you might be wondering, why did it take the state 2, 3, 4 years to figure it out? Or was it just simply about how long it went through the courts? Well, they explained in the workshops that due to the lobbying power of the hospital systems, the pharmaceutical companies, and the insurance companies, the state of New Jersey didn't have the rights that a self-insurance, if you were self-insured instead of state-insured, did when it came to finding out what the coding was. And it took them a while to realize that they were supposed that they had signed a contract, Horizon, to charge people like teachers and police and DPW workers and anyone in the state of health benefit, the lower the rate that was based on Medicare. Okay? no negotiated rate, and they were charging the higher rate. And they did it from day one. And that's why they settled for $100 million. This is a long-winded way to say, we love our police department, we can't afford it. We wish we could. Maybe in a couple of years, we could revisit this, but over the next 2 years, probably 3 years, based on, unless something miraculous happens with inflation, recession, and health benefits, it just isn't there. And the problem is if we don't fund properly, we have to tax properly. And if we don't do both of those, then we have to do layoffs and furloughs, which is not a safe way to run a town. I'm sure in 2 weeks when this is an ordinance, so this is a first reading, if it passes, it then goes, there's a 2-week waiting period, well, 2 weeks, next council meeting, and December 11th, and we will open it to the public again. But I don't see the financial situation changing between now and then. I wish it would. Maybe something miraculous will come from the state. Also, one last thing, the federal government has cut back drastically on its funding of states, and that means the state is cutting back drastically on its funding of municipalities. I thank you for coming forward and sharing your concerns. I wish we could do something better. It is the council's decision, and it is my role and responsibility to express the council's situation. Does any member of council want to add anything to the explanation I've offered?
I do, Mr. Mayor, I do. I do.
You're
want-
open, you're good, okay, you just turned yourself off. Touch it again,
And Mayor, your mic is on.
and I'll just, oh, my mic's been off. Did you guys ever all hear me?
Why not? If you don't want.
No.
I just want to express the fact that, I don't speak for everyone on the council, but this has not been a capricious decision. This has not been this has been a very difficult decision. And it all goes to the money, it all goes to the budget, and us having to tap into surplus again in the next year. It was neither capricious, not unprofessional. We have had conversations, and it's a decision that comes to, at the end of the day, as a budget issue. And us trying to avoid taxing the residents of River Edge, understanding how valuable the police department is. It is not, has not been an easy decision.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention, we're not reducing the patrol officers. We would never do that. We're not reducing the sergeants. This is an administrative position. And it was something we didn't have for 20 years and we had for 2.5, and it was an experiment that just, we can't afford. We could, we would hopefully do something different, but we can't. All right, we have now readings, first ordinances. Could I have a motion that the following ordinances being introduced and passed on first reading and setting November 24th at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter if the matter can be heard?
It should be December
Yeah, that's
11th.
December 11th, that's something. Can I have a motion that the following ordinances be introduced and passed on first reading and setting December 11th, 2025 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, as a matter that can be heard is the date and time. The council chambers is the place and the Zoom as a virtual platform for hearing on this ordinance. I'm going to read all three ordinances and I'll ask for a motion in a second. Mr. Jim, do we have to approve these individually? Can we move them as belonging? That's what I'm saying. Okay, ordinance 25-12, ordinance to amend subsection E entitled miscellaneous fees of chapter 206 of the revised general ordinance of the Borough of River Edge entitled fees. Ordinance 25-22, an ordinance amending chapter 337 rental property of the code of the Borough of River Edge to add article 2 respecting the regulation of the use of short-term rentals. Ordinance 25-23, an ordinance amending section 71-7, an article of chapter 71 of the code of the Borough of River Edge respecting the elimination of the position of captain from the table of organization of the police department of the Borough of River Edge. Could I have a motion and a second? No, it has to be Robert's rules. You must give a motion in a second, and then you can say.
So moved.
Second.
It has now been moved and seconded. It is now an item for discussion, but first could I ask the Borough Administrator to please, speak to these three ordinances, what we hope to achieve.
Ordinance 25-21 establishes a fee for borough code supplements, from time to time, somebody in the borough clerk's office to purchase, a copy of the latest supplement. It's available online free, but some people like to have paper copies. And, historically, the office has charged $15 for the supplement, but the rate of supplement, varies depending on the number of ordinances that have been codified. So this ordinance establishes it as the actual cost to be, what we are charged to the supplement for whomever asks for a hard copy. 25-22 establishes regulations, including registration for short-term rental, otherwise known as Airbnb or verbal rental. And ordinance 25-23 addresses the table of organization of the police department.
Okay, is there any comment or debate?
25-22. I had a couple of very minor comments on, but don't content.
Sure, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask if I could share them.
Oh, always. That is always.
So, you know, what I typically do, I'll send a markup, so that I'll share it with everyone. I think,
You said it to John.
yeah, so it's done. Thank
Mr.
you.
Shaney, I'm sorry.
I think the definition of, multi-unit dwelling is misplaced. Regarding 25-23,
Mm-hmm.
I'd just like to say, I thank you, Matt, for all the explanations you provided. Very helpful. I believe, the borough budget is extremely important, but, I agree that this decision should be based on safety of our residents. That's the most important.
Yes,
Um,
but as I said, we still have the same number of patrol officers and sergeants. We have the same number of officers in the detective department too.
Yeah, I hope we can continue this conversation. And for me personally, I'm gonna continue to work hard to understand all the issues around this and support the borough, in making the right decision and supporting them. Thank you.
No? Anyone else? Question or comment? All right. Madam Clerk, roll call please, on all three ordinances.
Council President Montesano Cohen? Yes. Councilwoman Kinsella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mallalieri? Yes. Councilman Benson?
Yes.
Councilman Glass?
Yes.
All right, resolution 25-292 through 25-295. I'd like in a moment a motion and second to move them, and then before we vote on them as an act of transparency, we will read 25-295 into the records, but we will be moving all of them. But I have a motion and second.
Second.
Could we please read into the record, Finance Chair, payment of bills?
Thank you, Mayor. At a regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, held on November 24th, 2025, be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge approve the following expenditures. Current fund, $1,921,235.03. General Capital Fund, $80,054.88. Grant Fund, $2,012.25. Trust Other, $4,326.10. Recreation Trust, $9,411.60. So,
All right, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Council President Montesano Cohen? Yes. Councilwoman Kinsella?
yes.
Councilwoman Mallalieri? Yes. Councilman Benson?
Yes.
Councilman Glass?
Yeah.
All right, new business, library holiday party request. What is,
This is the library's annual request to hold a holiday event for all their employees. at the library to include the consumption of alcohol. This is a routine request made every year. But it's not automatic, it has to come before the mayor and council for approval, since the library is a municipal building.
All right, is there any questions, or might there be a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
So moved?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
Is it, yeah,
Before you do that, I mean, I know it's not, I think this is, I don't remember the last year.
it
Did
did.
they get a permit to serve alcohol?
I don't think we.
I don't think we ever-
I don't think we have.
No, right?
No, there's a, you can have a permit like for like when like the, when I was at the firehouse or like if there's an event, it's like an event permit. You can give them like a one-off event permit, but they can have some kid
I think
alcohol, as
they
far
have.
as concerned, to consuming alcohol in a public building.
We've never done that before, but we certainly can do it.
It is the ABC
Yeah.
special event.
Yeah,
permit.
correct, yeah.
Never-
I mean, the fees waived, they just have to fill it out so that we have it provided to the insurance carrier.
I'm
Are you
Do you
talking about
have-
social affair?
Yeah, it's a social event permit, yeah, exactly.
That's usually for nonprofit.
Well, it's the library, well, the library is not part of the town, it is an independent or, entity, so that's why, nobody, my understanding is we own the building, right?
So is that
Public building.
permit something that your office can provide us with if the clerk cannot find it?
Absolutely, I think they have, you guys have it, but.
Could I have, could the maker of the motion, Indira, I think you made the motion, could you, can you amend the motion? Can you make a motion to amend as, specified by the borough attorney? You'd say yes.
Yes.
Can the person who seconded it?
Yes.
So yeah, yes. All right, so, and the amended motion is on the, floor. So, is there further comment or question? Is there debate? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right.
There, Madam Administrator, if you want to have I look at the record, that's the form.
Excellent.
That's what it's about.
All right. Very good. 2026 meeting schedule.
This is the draft schedule prepared by the borough clerk based on the response which we received for, the Guy and the organization meeting to be held on January 6th, and looking at the 2026 calendar by keeping the meetings on Thursdays, unless there is a holiday. This is draft calendar, so, governing body has to decide on these dates, so that way it could be included on the reorganization meeting, and also highlighted in the bottom, there is a clause for the citizen budget committee meeting, if the governing body wants to decide on this now, or in January, once we know more on the budget, any special instructions.
All right, so it's the second and fourth Thursday, which, keeping it consistent, allows the public to anticipate our meetings and be able to attend them, with the exception of Thanksgiving, correct?
There's also February 9th, so that's probably Lincoln's birthday.
And that's happening
On the 12th would be a Thursday.
I'm usually used to it as President's Day.
No, President's Day is that Monday. This is when Lincoln's birthday is.
It is, okay, well, then there it is. Is there any objection?
No.
Could I have a motion second to, authorize the, VA to place it, to give to the clerk and place it on the sending, not the sending time, the real, right?
Yes, but the March meetings are, the last meeting, or this meeting, first and the 8th,
No, that was based on last year.
I'll be,
So I think we can, so do we know those dates?
I don't, but you're talking about the first Saturday and the second Saturday?
Yeah.
In March. Okay. I'll
We
replace it.
we can approve it that way, first
Okay.
Saturday and second Saturday of March. Is everybody good with that?
Mhm.
All right, so can I have a motion second?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, any debate, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I don't see anything else on new business. Is there any new business the council wishes to raise? Good, is there any old business? All right, Could I have a motion second to open for public comments, on anything?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone who's not spoken so far today who would like to speak?
Do you want to go to participant online
Oh, yeah.
first? If there's anybody who wants.
Pat, didn't you give,
Yeah, if I can speak again in the second public, I'll wait for him.
do we allow?
First one's Friday.
Oh, great,
Mhm.
okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool.
Tom, do you want me to close this down then?
Close what then?
The,
Yes, well, we'll
Okay.
do the.
Afterwards?
we'll do it in
Okay.
council chamber.
got it. Okay. Sorry.
State your
Oh,
name and
sorry, sir.
position.
Patrick Diamond, I'm here as a police officer for Riverbridge.
Sure.
11 years. Just a little background on myself. I am an elected official in my hometown. I give you guys a lot of credit. We went through a budget crisis 3 years ago in the position I am in. You're-
Library board, right?
But I'm
Library-
school board president,
Those are good.
4 years and re-elected, still going at it.
You deserve the sainthood.
Thanks. We're going back on to the budget. I understand the budget. The numbers you guys cited does not make sense. You're not saving $300,000. You're saving $30,000. We have 23 officers come January. We will have 23 officers. We actually have an extra police officer because we're not promoting now. So whatever the chief would like to do with it, he's gonna do it. I just don't understand the decision you're making with all the requirements that this department has to do now with the mandatory training. As an elected official, I actually find it right, because how many lawsuits did you guys have for a civilian person in that position? You had lawsuits. You bought vehicles that weren't even police pursuit rated, that sat in the back lot and got rotted because a police officer could not drive them. Just know that there was lawsuits without a captain, with a civilian employee, and there are going to be people working on the titles. So the $30,000 you guys are saving, Mr. Shannon's office is gonna be billing, because we're union operational, just like the teachers union, when the teachers worked out. Me as an elected official, when we had a budget official, I brought in department heads and principals and said, this is the dollar amount we have to come to. We need to find it. Let's sit down as a team and find it. And every department, we have 4 schools, and was assigned a dollar amount. They found it. We didn't lay off a principal. We didn't lay off a vice principal. We didn't lay off an administrator. Unfortunately, we were able to condense teachers and class sizes, and we stopped using fund balance.
Do you have anyone who'd like to go?
I just reconsidered the position.
Matt Thursday, I'll give my time.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I mean,
So, the numbers stated by this council, it doesn't make sense. That's all, is my biggest thing, and the $30,000 that you were saving, you're going to pay lawyers for the next 2 or 3 years, more than the $30,000. Thank you.
all right. Anyone else? Yeah, come on up.
Joe Zamie's resident and Buchanan as the way representative. Again, I'll echo what Pat just said, is that the $300,000 number, Captain Casey's no longer here. Nobody else is getting higher. So that number just, it doesn't add up, the math doesn't work. The, oh, Chris, I think it would be great to have Chris here at the next meeting so that the CFO would be present so he could explain everything, because you're relaying this, but again, if the numbers aren't making sense, I would think that there should be an opportunity for him to address it in a public session where hopefully the numbers could make sense to everybody. Because I think at this point, that would be an appropriate next step. There's one last point that I wanted to make.
We've always had somebody in that role.
And the health, yeah, there's always been somebody in the role, whether it's a civilian or a sergeant. And as far as the health benefits go, what would you guys have done if Captain Casey didn't retire? How would you have made up that $500,000 in health insurance and then some that you're all of a sudden trying to saddle on the police department? What would you have done? I think these questions need to be answered, because now what you're doing is the amount of work that the AG keeps saddling on police departments in 2025, with administration and policy. There are positions in the borough that are getting added because we need to fulfill certain requirements. The AG also makes us fulfill certain requirements, and you guys are cutting us off at the neck here in order to balance a budget, again, leaving supervision in jeopardy. And I think you really need to think long and hard about that. And I have to commend you, Councilman Glass, for taking a minute to say that I want to learn about this more, I want to explore this, and I look forward to either having discussions with you or.
Is there anybody else who would like to?
I'm done, nobody has to, if anybody else wants to talk this, thank you.
I just want to clarify something. Chief Walker again. I just want to clarify something. I didn't put any nerve in an active decision. That's been said a couple of times. Right, again, if we have a meeting, this we didn't discuss, but, that's been said a couple of times, and I don't think that's fair. The workload has to be covered, right? When you say the captain's gone, I just can't go. All right, then, skills, responsibilities, I'm not gonna worry about them. Somebody has to do them, right? Once I have to assign somebody to it, right? When I assign somebody to it, and the mayor knows this better than anybody, by contract, right? They fit, they're covering job function that's not theirs. The contract says within so many days they get paid for that. I didn't make that. I didn't say, hey, let's get back to the borough for this. That's kind of the way it sounded. Walker's just put people in places. I'm not. I would cover the responsibilities because I have to. Right? I have to cover the responsibilities. They just can't say, we're not doing them. All right, so I just wanted to clarify that because I didn't put anybody in that position. I covered the position. Right before I gave the positions to captain's responsibility solely to Lieutenant McGinty. Right? It was $2,000 a month overtime. Right? That's $24,000 a year. Right? How much does it cost to go from lieutenant to captain? $1,900. $1,900. As I said before, I think if Chris was here, the CFO, or we had a meeting, the difference, because there's a great difference in our misunderstanding. Wouldn't you agree, Mayor? About how we see.
You have 2 minutes, Chief, and when you're done, we council will
All right,
resign.
that, I'm putting that out there to you.
Okay.
You recite numbers, dismiss our numbers completely. Recite your numbers again and then walk away with your numbers. But there's a great difference between our numbers. And nobody's explained it to us yet. Nobody has explained it to us. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Remotely. Please raise your hand if you would like to speak. Seeing none, could I have a motion second to close the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Councilwoman, himself, the number of 302,000, could you read the actual number that we got from the CFO?
Just give me 1 sec.
Ms. Albertella, is the number from the CFO a correct budget number? To the best of your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge, the budget falls under his purview.
Yes.
I have like a million names in front of me. Okay.
You get that?
I did. This is what he said in his email. The captain position specifically was approximately $302,762. Salary consists of, do you want to break it down?
No.
Okay.
But you did get that from the CFO, and that was his actual number.
Yes.
Oh.
But Mayor, that was the physical body.
So,
That's not.
no, this is, if you guys want to talk this out, meeting, fine, but this is a public meeting and must follow consistent rules.
For the skewing the public.
No.
Decision.
It is not, and we will move on with the big, we treat everyone equally. This has always been the process, and we have used it over and over again. All right,
Mayor, could I just ask a question? Is there
you may not. we have closed to the public. You can speak to us after the meeting, absolutely, but this is a public meeting and it must follow consistent rules. Is there, are there any council comments?
Yes, Mayor, just want to remind the public that, there's an ornament contest that submissions are due by midnight on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. And the holiday lighting will be on Saturday, December 6th, from 4 to 6 at Borough Hall.
Okay, any other council comments?
Yeah, I just want to build on what Councilman Glass said. I will take the time to get to understand this a little bit better myself. It's really in that calendar next
Okay, any other council comments? All right. Could I have a motion second to go into closed session 25-296? Resolution go into closed session, exclude public attorney-client privilege, affordable housing, fourth round, snow plowing agreement, Borough Hall construction, litigation, street opening.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Could I have, will we be returning to take any action? So we will be adjourning the meeting, for the evening and we will re-adjourn on December 11th, correct? Could I have a motion second to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.